So one frequently misinterpreted scripture, I find that people seem to not really understand what's going on, is found in the book of Matthew. This is Matthew 22, verses 15 to 22, and I'm going to be reading from the English Standard Version of the Bible. And you've all heard this story, I'm sure, and I'm going to read to it, and I'm going to explain where I think many people misinterpret this text. So it says, starting Matthew 22, verse 15, "Then the Pharisees went and plotted how to entangle him in his talk. And they sent their disciples to him, along with the Herodians, saying, 'Teacher, we know that you are true and teach the way of God truthfully. And you do not care about anyone's opinion, for you are not swayed by appearances. Tell us then what you think. Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not?' But Jesus, aware of their malice, said, 'Why put me to the test, you hypocrites? Show me the coin for the tax.' And they brought him a denarius, which was the currency of the time. And Jesus said to them, 'Whose likeness and inscription is this?' They said, 'Caesar's.' Then he said to them, 'Therefore render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's.' When they heard it, they marveled, and they left him and went away." Most people, when they read this, they go, "Oh, Jesus did not want to get involved in government. He wanted to keep church and state separate, yada, yada, yada." I don't read it that way. I actually think there's a way deeper meaning to this text than most people realize. So, what's going on here? Well, the Pharisees are trying to trap Jesus into getting him to say something that's either going to have him arrested or worse. So the question, they think it's a yes or no question, that there's no way that he's going to be able to answer this question and get away with it. The question is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Now, why is this a trap question? Well, if Jesus says no, we shouldn't pay taxes to Caesar, then they can have him arrested, obviously, because it's illegal not to pay your taxes. But if he says yes, we should pay taxes to Caesar, the common folk, the poor folk, they're not going to like that very much, and he's going to lose a lot of fans. He's going to lose a lot of followers. So, how does Jesus answer the question? Well, very smartly, he says, "Render to Caesar things that are Caesar's, but render to God the things that are God's." Now, what he wasn't saying at all was that we ought not be involved in political things, or, we shouldn't stand in the way of the government. Actually, quite wrongly, Jesus was constantly in the face of the government. He was trying to tell them the truth and get them to change their ways. Remember, the Pharisees were the religious and political leaders of the area, so Jesus is challenging them in a big way. So he says, "Therefore render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, render to God the things that are God's." But notice what he says before that. "Whose likeness and inscription is this? Whose image is on this coin?" It's Caesar, right? Well, whose likeness and image is on you? Remember, the Bible teaches over and over again that human beings are made in the image of God. So, whether you like it or not, the passage is saying we are God's. We are His, and we are to render ourselves unto God, not to worry about the things of this world, material things, money, cars. How many of people fall prey to that in their day-to-day lives? How many of us constantly try and fill our coffers with things that aren't ultimately going to fulfill us? And that is what Jesus was saying in this text. And this is why they were amazed. So he was able to answer the question without saying anything, blasphemous or over the top. And he really put these guys in their place. So he was saying, hey, get to Caesar what's Caesar's. You go right ahead. But I'm not concerned with that. He's not concerned about that. He's concerned about doing God's work, not Caesar's work. And that's the way that I read the text here. Another thing to think about is, yes, we're rendering unto Caesar, but in today's day and age, in a democracy, who's Caesar? You are. The citizens of a country are Caesar today. Do you want to store up material wealth for yourself here in this time? No. You want to give yourself to God because His image is on you. It's quite amazing, isn't it? Let me know what you think in the comments below, if you agree, if you disagree. There's many ways people can interpret Scripture, but I think Jesus was really trying to hammer home the idea that the things of this earth are finite, and we should be worried about things that are in God's image. Thanks for watching.